Joining us is Jennifer Westacott, National Lead Partner Climate Change, Water and Sustainability for KPMG. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thanks very much.
Jennifer, how difficult is it to continuously monitor CO2 emissions and to comply with limits under an emissions trading scheme?
Well, initially there will be some challenges in continuously monitoring CO2 emissions. There are complex processes to collect and collate data. There will also be different measurement and conversion methodologies, and it's important for organisations to understand what constitutes an emission, where an emission comes from, how to capture emissions data, and how to collate and report on that data in order to comply with an emissions trading scheme. This is going to require robust processes, systems, and in KPMG we call that readiness to report. And it's important for organisations to understand early what their reporting requirements are going to be, and this will ensure that the cost to business that might arise out of an emissions trading scheme and new reporting obligations can be minimised.
Do you think many Australian companies understand and are prepared for a carbon emissions trading scheme?
Most of the large emitters that are clients of KPMG or that we talk to are very well prepared for an emissions trading scheme, obviously because they are impacted by it. Some mid-sized organisations, though, we think are not as well prepared as they should be, organisations that exist on the boundary of some of the thresholds. Many organisations, though, don't, in our view, understand the full impact of an emissions trading scheme and the way in which that scheme is going to transform the economy. Put simply, something that was previously free carbon will now have a price on it. That price on carbon is going to affect every aspect of our economy because we're a very emissions intensive economy, and that will, as it's intended to, change the value in our economy. That is, value will shift from high carbon polluting activities to low carbon polluting activities, and many organisations have not really come to terms with that major transformation. We're also finding that organisations have not really assessed risk properly, and they've not assessed some of their contractual risk in terms of pass-through provisions.
Will mandatory monitoring and reporting be costly, necessitating the establishment of special CO2 budgets?
We think there will be some costs associated with reporting in respect of measurement, processes, infrastructure, technical advice and assurance. We think it's wise for organisations to start considering the inclusion of a carbon management program into their budgets. The more organisations, though, embed reporting under an emissions trading scheme into their day-to-day business operations and their overall reporting arrangements, the less costly it will be. Similarly, the earlier organisations prepare to report, as we call it, the less risk they're running of incurring extra costs by having to rush reporting at the last minute. Also, many of the costs that organisations will incur initially will be recouped over time as organisations save money in respect of reducing their energy costs and improving their energy efficiency.
What can we in Australia learn from the European experience?
In respect of reporting, some of the critical learnings are the importance of harmonising reporting requirements across various jurisdictions, so in the Australian context, across the state and federal jurisdictions to minimise the regulatory obligations on organisations. Similarly, in the European case, it was important to harmonise or standardise measurement methodologies both within industries and across domestic and international economies. So some of those standardisation and harmonisation things in a reporting sense are some of the key learnings out of the European experience.
Jennifer, given the complexities, do you see many companies seeking the services of emissions management specialists?
Yes, they will, because very few organisations will be able to cover all of the bases within their own organisation, and they will need to seek expert assistance, and that may be just in respect of one or two matters, but it would be difficult for an organisation to cover everything that emissions trading scheme is going to place on an organisation in terms of extra reporting obligations, changes in the way they manage their financial structures, changes to their business operations. So we think organisations will need that expert advice.
Finally, Jennifer Westacott, what will be the thrust of your presentation to the Emission Measurement and Information Systems Conference on the 25th and 26th of September in Sydney?
KPMG is going to present on what our clients are asking us and what we think is of interest in terms of the reporting and measurement obligations. So first of all, we'll be covering what are the obligations that organisations have to report. What are the key reporting milestones? How will the Carbon Pollution Reduction Scheme reporting requirements work alongside the National Greenhouse and Energy Reporting System? How should organisations prepare to report? How can organisations minimise the cost of reporting? And how do organisations incorporate these reporting requirements into their overall accountability, financial and reporting requirements so that they reduce the cost of this to their business and they make this part of their DNA of their new business operations?
Jennifer, thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you at the conference.
Pleasure, I'm looking forward to it too.